What is going on, Jets fans? Who is this guy? Dan Shamus? Shamash? They call him Coach Smash. So we're going to go with that. He is the new clock management coordinator that the Jets have brought into this staff this offseason. He sits right next to Mike LaFleur. He's tapped in the headset, talking to Coach Saleh, and the coordinators giving his input. And his input is more heavily weighted as we wane into the final minutes of the first half and the fourth quarter. He's keeping his eyes on the down, the distance, the scoreboard, and of course, the clock. That's the world he lives in. And this hire has already paid dividends because we know that in Pittsburgh, the New York Jets flawlessly executed their clock management down the stretch in their final offensive possession. And a great read by Zach Rosenblatt in The Athletic gave a deeper dive into the communication between Robert Saleh and Coach Smash on that final drive. And Coach Smash, this is his whole world. He's got a whole chart. Okay, if it's down in distance, this, if the clock says this, if we're up by this many, factoring in the opponent. And this is exactly when we need to take the timeout. We need to take the timeout at 18 seconds, not at 24 seconds. It's at 18 seconds. And that's what Coach Smash says. Now, Robert Saleh makes the final decision, but he's heavily weighting the input of his clock management coordinator. And it worked flawlessly, even baking in the play that could have been challenged by Corey Davis. And we're in the final 5 minutes. We need a play that we can get right up to the line and snap it. They have a whole system on how to close the game now. And we already saw it work beautifully with Zach Wilson's first game back as a second-year quarterback on the road. They got it done. And when we first made this hire, there was quite a bit of criticism of Robert Saleh. This guy needs a whole separate coach just to manage the clock. Come on. I've had my criticisms of Coach Saleh, but that's not one of them. In fact, one of my favorite qualities of Robert Saleh is his willingness to delegate and not always have to be the smartest guy in the room and trust the guys around him. He doesn't have he's not too deep into the offense or to the defense. He kind of delegates to his coordinators. And yeah, I love having a clock manager. I do. How many games have you seen come down to a team taking a timeout, 10 seconds too late or 10 seconds too early? Robert Saleh, he's overseeing the entire game. He's the CEO, and I'm perfectly fine with having some nerd up there looking at his chart and telling him exactly when to take a timeout. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't have to do everything. And that's something I really like about Robert Saleh, and the proof is in the pudding. We just closed out a game perfectly. When's the last time you saw a Jets offense just execute the clock management flawlessly? It's been forever. It's huge. There's a lot of great coaches that it's kind of been their flaw, like Andy Reid. Andy Reid had like 3 Super Bowls if he could figure out when to take a timeout. Okay, if he had a Coach Smash. So I love the hire, and it's already working out. And more on Robert Saleh and my criticism. I think my biggest criticism of Coach Saleh so far in terms of trying to assess his ability as a leader has been some of the lame excuses that he gave last year over the summer and the beginning of the season. But if you've noticed the past 3 weeks or so, the excuses have kind of stopped, and there's been a shift in what Robert Saleh's messaging to the media about his team, and I absolutely love it, especially after the win against, I'm losing my mind. Who did he play? Miami. The win against Miami, Robert Saleh gets to the podium, and he just completely downplays it. He's like, I know we haven't accomplished a lot. It's our first divisional win. It's our first back-to-back win, but we want to normalize it. Winning should be normal, and we don't have to act like we've won the Super Bowl after every little win that we stack together. We haven't accomplished anything yet. Beautiful. I love that message. And yeah, he's fired up. He's pumped up for this young team, but you want that to be the message. You want that to be the message that this is now the standard. This is nothing special. This is what we should do, and now we're right on to Green Bay. I think Robert Saleh made a great hire with Coach Smash, and I think that you're starting to see a shift in his expectations and standards for this team, and it's really exciting. And we'll talk ball soon.